What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Always Compete Seahawks podcast. I am Sam, and that is Mike. And today, before we get into the video, I just want to remind you guys to subscribe. Please. A lot of you guys who watch are not subscribed. So please subscribe. If you're watching this video and you like the content, why not subscribe?
It's free.
We drop Seahawks content.
It's not OnlyFans. It's free.
It's free. If you want to sub to my OnlyFans, link in description.
That's a different video. Wait. Never mind. Let's get to the topic.
All right. But today we'll be breaking down the Seahawks-Vikings game. Currently, it is 10:39 Eastern time on Saturday, which means that the game is happening in about maybe
16 hours.
16 hours, something like that.
Yeah, just about 16 hours.
Just about 16 hours. Not much has happened with the news, but the main news is what Mike will be getting into now. Mike, you have the injuries.
So just to kind of start off our preview with some injury reports for the Vikings, they have a few guys out, unfortunately. Anthony Barr is out. One of their starting linebackers, Christian Darrisaw, their offensive tackle, who they drafted this year, is out. Harrison Hand, which that might be the greatest name I've ever heard in my life. I'll have to double check on that. He's a corner. He's out. And then the big one for Minnesota is Dalvin Cook is questionable. He hasn't practiced. I don't believe he's practiced this week. And if he has, It's been very, very, very little. So Dalvin Cook is questionable. If I had to have a gut feeling, I would say that he plays, but he's not 100%. That would be my guess. And then, transitioning to the Seahawks, Brandon Shell, our starting right tackle, is out. D. Eskridge is out again with the concussion. Rashad Penny is still out with the calf injury. If I had a nickel for every time I said Rashad Penny is out, I'd be a rich man. And
I would be literally the richest man on the planet.
I'd have to shave my head because I'd be so much like Jeff Bezos. And then Benson Mayowa is questionable. So hoping that Benson Mayowa can play, but sadly we will not have Eskridge, Penny, or Shell. So those are kind of the injuries. Not too bad, but obviously each team has a couple key guys that are out, unfortunately.
Yep. All right. Offensive keys to the game. I want to talk about this. This is my category. Offensive keys. One key that I believe will be very, very important this week is the quick pass game. Mike, you said it. Brandon Shell's out this week, meaning that good old Jamarco Jones is starting at right tackle this week.
Yep.
If it was Cedric Ogbuehi, I would have been a little bit more confident, but I believe he's on the IR right now. So I would have been a little bit more confident because he actually had some decent moments last year. I'm not confident in Jamarco Jones starting at right tackle, especially when they will nearly guaranteed be lining up Danielle Hunter over him.
Yeah.
Every play.
Yeah.
Offensive keys, quick passes. Get the ball out of Russ's hands. Avoid taking hits. I'm going to sound like Pete Carroll here. We need to be better at establishing some kind of a run game.
Yeah, we couldn't run the ball at all last week.
As much as people hate it, and I know that we have Russ and we have DK and we have Tyler and we have Gerald Everett and we have a new shiny offensive coordinator. Running is still very important for this offense. Shane Waldron talked about it, and a lot of people are like, he's already brainwashed by Pete Carroll. No. He's right. If you can only run the ball like 10 times for like 20 yards, that's a big no-no. That's a huge
NFL defenses are too good for you to be one-dimensional offensively. You can't just be able to pass. You can't just be able to run. You have to have the run to set up the pass and vice versa. So we couldn't run the ball last week. That's why our offense struggled so much. So I definitely agree with running and doing those quick passes to avoid the pass rush.
Yeah, that's really all I got. Be better at establishing the run. Attack these corners very young, very kind of
definitely attack
inexperienced corners. I mean, who are their corners? It's not Jeff Gladney.
Patrick Peterson.
Pat Pete, yeah, DK. Come on, DK.
Yeah.
And I don't even know who's their other. Is it Mackenzie Alexander? Because didn't he get cut and then re-sign there or something?
I don't think
I'm looking up Vikings depth chart to see who starts at the other corner. Mike, you get into the defensive keys.
Some of the defensive keys for today, very similar to the Titans last week. They have two really, really good wide receivers. They have a great running back. This week, though, Dalvin Cook's a little banged up. So what I'm going to say is I want to see more zone coverage out of our defense. We don't have corners good enough to guard Jefferson or Thielen one-on-one. We need to play some zone. I know the Seahawks are going to love them some cover 3. And you know what? Speaking on that for a second, let's get Sidney Jones in the game, please. Let's get Trey Flowers' ass out of there. Let's get Sidney Jones more reps. Another thing I really want to see that I saw a little bit in the first half last week, not so much in the second half. The pass rush needs to be consistent. It was very hot and cold last week. There were plays where, we were screaming up the edge, and there were plays where Tannehill had all day to throw. That, means guys like Darrell Taylor, Carlos Dunlap, they need to get more snaps. I don't know what was going on with their snap count last week. They need to get more snaps. They need to get in there. Give Alton Robinson some damn snaps, please. The man is a monster. Let's get him in the game a little bit more. And so obviously hitting Kirk, I would say maybe even whisper in Kirk's ear that it's Monday Night Football because, we know that he's not very good at Monday Night Football. So that might trigger some psychological effect in him and he'll just start throwing picks left and right. And then lastly, we need to play assignment sound football. Last week, we got a little sloppy. We had guys being a little too aggressive. Just play your assignments and just don't give up the big play. That's what I'm going to say. None of this missed tackles, no blown coverages, no, leaving a hole wide open for Dalvin Cook to run through. Just play assignment sound football, get after the quarterback. And another thing I want to see that I haven't seen this year from the Seahawks defense, let's get some damn turnovers, all right? I want to see some fumbles. I want to see some
picks.
Let's get some picks, man.
We don't have a pick this year.
I think our only turnovers, we have one forced fumble from Allen Robinson last week.
No, and DJ Reed recovered that fumble on the Carson Wentz QB sneak.
Yes, but that was like a turnover on downs, though. That really wasn't like a turnover.
But we got the ball. I mean, it counts
technically, yeah.
So
yeah.
So
but I want to see some picks. I want to see some damn picks, man. Come on, Jamal.
By the way, I looked it up on their website. It says their second string corner, their right corner, is Brashad Breeland. So attack. Now, listen. Now we're gonna move on to our players that need to have a good game. I'm not gonna be generic. I could say Jamarco Jones, generic answer. Yeah. I could say DK Metcalf, generic answer.
Yeah.
Both have not been great as of late and need to have good games. I'm gonna go with Jordan Brooks. Jordan Brooks was the second worst graded player on defense besides that's not named Cody Barton. I believe he had like a 29 grade from Pro Football Focus.
I love Jordan, but he wasn't great last week.
He had a couple boneheaded mistakes, and really after a great week 1 where he had like an 80 coverage grade, he played really well. He had like 11 tackles.
Yeah, that's 20 considering, not even counting the Julio Jones touchdown, I don't think. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, like Jordan Brooks.
Come on, pick it up, bro.
It needs to have a good game, especially when we're considering that Dalvin Cook, I would say, is likely to play despite not practicing all week.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook likely to play. You need to be able to stop the run. Bobby was freaking amazing last week.
Bobby literally set the franchise record for most tackles in a single game last week.
He had 20 tackles and a sack.
You could say that's literally the greatest game a Seahawks linebacker has ever played last week. That's an argument.
Breaking the record once held by Bobby Wagner that broke the record once held by Bobby Wagner. So
next week is going to break the record held by Bobby Wagner that was held by Bobby Wagner that was originally held by Bobby. Anyway, you guys get the point.
And then eventually it gets back to like Lofa Tatupu. We don't go back that far.
Then you skip Lofa Tatupu, but it's like, oh wait, Bobby Wagner was second on that list. So it's just a lot of Bobby Wagner.
It's like Lofa, and then you get to like some dude who'd never heard of before, like James Watson. You're like, who the freak is James Watson? But it's that kind of thing where Bobby Wagner is just that significant.
Yeah.
So Jordan Brooks, you don't need to do a lot. Just play well. That's all we need.
So I think a key position that I want to see play well, and I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to give 2 answers. One's kind of like a half answer, and the other one's just a specific player. Number 1, my first answer is the edge rushers. Carlos, Darrell Taylor, Alton.
I don't know if we can count Carlos anymore. He hasn't been playing. I think got like 10% of snaps last week.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. Like, just get him more involved. My reason for saying this is the Vikings don't have good offensive line on their own, right? They're just not a good offensive line unit.
Besides Brian O'Neill.
Add to that the fact that Darrisaw is not playing. You need to get after Kirk. That's my number 1. My number 2. this might be a generic answer, but DK Metcalf, I need to see him do something, because the first week he had 6 for 53 and a touchdown, which was good. Tyler Lockett had like 150, and last week he just looked out of it. Like he looked like he was mentally not there. This week they were talking to him. I believe it was Michael Sean Dugar who asked him, either he tweeted about it or he asked him basically, hey, what's different this year? He said teams have been talking more shit, and we've seen it with Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey could really get in his head. So I would just love to see DK Metcalf have his, opening great performance. These Vikings don't have good corners, right? Just go absolutely balls to the walls crazy. Have 100 yards, maybe 2 touchdowns. I want to see DK Metcalf have a great game this season, to kind of reinforce the idea that we have 2 stud wide receivers. Obviously, Tyler Lockett's been a freaking maniac this year.
Well, that kind of leads me to what I was going to say, that DK Metcalf playing worse has literally made Tyler Lockett a fantastic receiver, and vice versa. We saw it in the Colts game. They shut down Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett played great in the first half. DK literally didn't have a single target. In the second half, they shut down Tyler Lockett, and then DK kind of goes off out of nowhere.
So you need to have –
And then last week, Tyler Lockett goes berserk again, and DK was kind of not there this week. But,
That's what I'm saying is I think the game plan for the Vikings is going to be based on what we've seen this year. We got to stop Tyler Lockett.
Which is good.
That would leave the door open for DK. So DK needs to definitely capitalize on that, which he really hasn't done this year, but he needs to do so absolutely. So I'm picking DK Metcalf as my player that I think needs to have a great game.
Yep. So let's move on to what we want to see now. This is kind of less players that we need to have a good game. It's kind of more like one aspect of this game that you want to see, and mine is going to be Blitz Jamal Adams less. If we have, I frankly, I'm not a big fan of the Blitz Jamal Adams 15 plus times a game camp. I think Jamal Adams is at his best when you have the element of surprise in blitzing him maybe 5 to 10 times. And last week we tried it way more than we did in week 1, and it was absolutely shut down. Like Jamal Adams did not get back there. I feel like he was more of a factor in week 1. Frankly, I think he was way more of a factor in week 1. I feel like Tannehill is essentially unfazed. I think that Jamal Adams is. I feel like we really last week in week 1, not week 2. I meant like the week before last week. I felt like that was the first time where we saw the Seahawks realize that, oh, we have Jamal Adams. Let's use Jamal Adams like Jamal Adams, not as a blitzer. You know what I mean? So I felt like last week it got a little out of hand. It became expected that we were going to blitz Jamal Adams. They knew how to stop it exactly. I feel like in week 1, when we didn't have to bring Jamal Adams to get pressure, it worked way more. So that's what I'm going to say. I know that a lot of people are going to be surprised, but I feel like Jamal Adams is honestly a better player. In week 1, he played well, and PFF backed that up. Thank God, finally, for the first time in a year, PFF backs Jamal Adams up. They gave Jamal Adams an 80 grade with a pretty damn solid pass coverage grade. And he was also, I believe, given no credited targets on the day when he was covering somebody. So, let's find what we need with Jamal Adams. I feel like last year was kind of experimenting. 2, we have him for 4 more years after this. Let's really try to find the way on how we're going to use him. I feel like we saw in week 1 how we should use him. I feel like we have to do that again.
That's interesting. It wasn't the answer I was expecting. I don't know if it's tricky, but I think we should blitz Jamal Adams because he's a great player, but I also don't think blitz him every single play because
I said, I think blitzing him 5 to 10 times a game, it mixes the element of surprise and the amount of times that we're blitzing him perfectly. When we're blitzing him 15 to 20 plus times a game, they know that he's going to come for the quarterback. They know it. It's not like it's surprise. It's oh, Jamal Adams on the line of scrimmage. it's time to send the running back out and pick him up. It becomes way more expected. So I just feel like blitzing him with less kind of expectedness, I would say, is what I think a major key is.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. What I want to see, and I'm gonna cheat again. I mentioned this before. I'm just gonna reference this. I want to see Sidney Jones get more playing time. Number one.
Yep.
I've already mentioned that. But what else I want to see is I want to see Chris Carson. I want to see him handle the rock, man. I mean, I want to see probably 15 plus carries for Chris Carson. I want to ground and pound. I want to see them kill clock. We mentioned it last week in the episode. Tennessee had 42 minutes of possession time. 42. I get the game went into overtime. Yeah, we had 4 minutes of overtime. So it was 42-22 in possession time. Disgusting. We need to stay our offense on the field more. We need to kill some more clock. We need to give defense a chance to breathe a little bit. I think toting the rock with Chris Carson. He had a great game last time against the Vikings. So I really think we need to run Chris Carson. And again, I love Russell Wilson. I am not saying don't take the ball. I'm not saying take the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands. I'm not. Trust me. I am a simp boy for Russell Wilson. But we got to run the ball. And we got to do it effectively. So that's what I want to see. So finally, our last category is going to be predictions. Just for my betting guys and gals out there, the Seahawks are currently favored as -2 favorites. They were
Isn't it interesting how 1 week we're like the best team in the NFL, and then we lose to a legitimately good Super Bowl contender
in overtime
by 3, and then all of a sudden we're barely favorites over the Vikings? Like I saw somebody say that the Seahawks, they're doing score predictions on NFL, and Cynthia Freeland had the Seahawks winning by 1.
Okay, again,
and it was split. Two of them said the Vikings were going to win. Two of them said the Seahawks were going to win. So last week, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Seahawks over Titans, -7, easy work." Like now it's like,
well, we told
Seahawks are kind of buns. You know, like what? Make up your mind.
We told you last week that we were very serious when we said this isn't gambling advice.
This is not gambling advice.
Not gambling advice. Don't listen to us.
I swear to God, if we pick a game and you come back saying, I believe in you guys. I bet on the under. I bet on the under. And then I lost my life savings and my wife left me.
Right. I can't pay rent this month, bro. We told you not to.
We told you. Like, pure disclaimer. Literally, so that you guys cannot get mad at us. This is not gambling advice. But my score prediction this week. I'm not even gonna talk about Mike winking over there. But our score.
I have an eyelash.
Our score prediction this week is or my score prediction this week. I'm writing mine down now just to see like what I think about this game. I say Seahawks cover, win 34-28.
Okay. You say 34-28 Seahawks?
34-28 Seahawks.
I'm going to go 26-20 Seahawks. Here's why I say that. I think the Seahawks cover for sure. I think the Seahawks win. I think this game is absolutely whack. The Seahawks and Vikings play each other basically every year, and it's just never a normal game. You have missed 20-yard field goals. You have Doug Baldwin, one hand catches in the air.
We have the Blair Walsh miss. We have that one game that was like 14-6 or whatever.
Even in the Blair Walsh game too. Remember that snap that went behind Russell Wilson? He ran back, got it, found Tyler Lockett. That was nuts. There's the Russ volleyball pick 6 where he throws it, gets tipped at the line. Russ like swats it down. And then Anthony Harris just runs under it. Pick 6.
There's the one there's the DK Metcalf game-winning drive,
which was preceded by the KJ Wright one-hand interception. That was nuts.
When have the Seahawks and Vikings ever played an average football game?
They haven't. So I'm gonna say 26-20. That's a whack score. It's gonna be a whack game. It's gonna be some weird shit that happens.
And player of the game prediction. Caught you off guard on that one.
Player of the game.
Last week, I think I said Russell Wilson. I'd probably say Tyler Lockett was player of the game last week. But, or Bobby Wagner. But
player of the game. I'm not going to say Russ. That's too generic. Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams is going to be the player of the game.
All right.
Bold take. I predicted this last week. Bold take. We're going to get 2 interceptions.
Yeah, I was gonna stick with the interception theme. I was gonna say that I think Marquise Blair gets his first career pick tomorrow and will win Player of the Game.
All right,
that's my prediction.
So that is
Once
our
again,
predictions for this game.
Not
Sorry,
gaming advice.
Not
Yeah,
gaming
this is our game. Kind of not necessarily prediction, just overall preview. What we want to see, what we think we're gonna see, what we need to do to win, because this is, like we said, this is not gonna be a normal game. If you guys were expecting a 28-21 average football game, no.
It's gonna be some whack shit in this game.
Chances are the final score is gonna be like 10-6 or whatever. Like,
there's gonna be probably a safety in this game also.
Yeah, you know what? The Vikings will probably get like 3 safeties. The Seahawks will score like 7 points and we'll win like
I have
7-6.
26-20. Vikings actually scored 2 touchdowns, but they get 3 safeties, so they actually score 20.
Yeah, I have 34-28. I just have the Vikings getting 14 safeties.
Yes, 14 safeties.
Yeah, 14. I mean,
it's about right.
An average number of safeties. So listen, that's it. We appreciate you guys for watching. Please subscribe, leave a like, leave your comments down below. We want to see your prediction and who you think will be player of the game as well. And we will see you guys in the next video. Most likely our game recap. Peace out.